Hi, Paul Mascetta here with the influentialmind.com, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about rapport. Now, everybody knows in the game of influence and persuasion that rapport is an essential element, right? You have to develop that connection with someone, you have to be likable with them, and when you do that, their resistance gets lower. This is nothing new. But I want to talk about some fatal errors that people make in rapport, right? Because that's something that not too many people talk about. Everyone talks about how you need rapport, they teach you how to create rapport, but no one really talks about the mistakes and the fatal errors that people make when they are trying to develop rapport. And the very first one is being too nice. And what this really has to do with is our subliminal psychological understanding of our roles in the environment. You see, deep within our minds is something called the reptilian complex or the reptilian brain. It's the oldest brain that we have. We developed it millions of years ago, and it served as a survival mechanism for us to basically make our way in the world by reading different signals from the environment. And it's a part of our brain that is still very active within us. It's actually causing us to make a lot of decisions and causing us to filter the world in such a way that we might not even realize is actually happening. And a lot of this has to do with status and social status. So we subconsciously categorize people. We subliminally place someone into a category as higher or lower than us. And it is only natural that when we place someone in a category that is lower than us, we tend to feel like we have more power in this situation. Now, there are certain situations where that's the case, and we'll talk about that later on. But for the sake of this conversation, you have to realize that being too nice sometimes is going to automatically, subconsciously place you in a lower category. It's going to make you a subordinate in the mind of the person that you're trying to influence. And if it's necessary for you to be viewed as an authority figure or a power figure in the mind of that person, you're going to hurt yourself by being too nice. Now, I'm not saying that you should be rude, pushy, mean, or arrogant to people. That's not going to help you either. You have to be pleasant, but you have to do it in a way where it doesn't seem like you're kissing up or you're trying too hard. That's the second mistake that people make. We see this in the romance niche all the time. It's always the guy who's chasing the girl can never seem to get her, and the girl's always attracted to the guy who's not paying her any attention. And this is true in all cases of relationships. Anytime you try too hard, you're sending a subconscious message to the mind of your target that you're not worth it, and that you're not the type of person that can be drawn to automatically and naturally and organically. It's kind of like you have to create this artificial sense about you for people to want and to value what you have to offer. So the key to this is to use fractionalized rapport, which means instead of trying to build rapport with someone at once and overwhelming them and in essence being mismatched and confused and making the person think that you're trying too hard, you use fractionalized rapport. And fractionalized rapport is real simple. It's when instead of inducing these large amounts of rapport at once or trying to develop them at once, you actually kind of just sprinkle them. Each time you see the person, you create little bits of rapport with them that eventually add up to one big thing. Because what happens is when you do that, every time you leave your target, they're going to be left with an image in their mind that a good experience or a good interaction took place between you and them, and that's ultimately going to draw them toward you rather than you just trying to overwhelm them. The third thing is a lack of genuine interest. And I can't tell you that how many times in my 15 years of studying subliminal influence, mind reading, body language, without even studying that stuff, if you just have a little bit of common sense and you're able to pick up on what people do and how they act, so many people exhibit a lack of genuine interest in other people, and that automatically causes your target to shut down. People like to talk about themselves, people like to share parts of themselves, and if you don't have a genuine interest in them, they're going to subliminally shut you out. You're never going to get anywhere with them. So develop a genuine interest in people. Learn, be interested, want to find out about them. The next fatal error that people make, and this is a big one, is the mismatched role. so many times people don't understand what their role is in the context of the social interaction. And make no mistake, we all have different roles in different environments. In your work environment, you might be the power figure, the alpha male or the alpha female, and in a certain social environment, you might have a secondary role. What you want to focus on is the role that you ultimately want to attain and what is ultimately going to make the best contribution to you getting the outcome that you want in terms of influence. So if you are playing this subordinate role at work and it's kind of understood that there's one person, they're the head honcho, they're in charge of everyone. There's an understanding that this person is the pack leader. That's the one that everyone else reports to. Never try to overwhelm that person or overtake that person's position, because again, they're going to sense that and they're going to shut you out. You're never going to get anywhere with them. Instead, use fractionalized rapport by knowing your role and understanding that you're a subordinate in that particular situation. If you read this book, Power, the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, one of the laws that he points out is that you never want to outshine the master. So if there's a clear understanding that there is a master in this social context, you need to make it your business to never attempt to threaten that person. Instead, utilize fractionalized rapport, build rapport over time, and in time you will get that person to give you what you want, whether it's a promotion, whether it's a higher seat in the social interaction, whatever it might be. You'll get to it easier by understanding and utilizing your role the right way. And then the last one is the utilization of deep rapport, and that kind of circles back to trying too hard. Deep rapport is when you take all of your energy and try to get inside the mind of someone by creating this overwhelming sense of rapport. And a lot of times it scares people off and it does the complete opposite. So instead, you want to utilize wide rapport. And there are two ways to do it. The first one is to somehow find yourself in different environments with the person that you're trying to influence. Whether that means if they're a colleague at work, you want to try to get them into a social interaction, or if they're a social interaction, you might want to try to get them into a more professional environment. You want to keep switching your environments with this person, because something happens on a deep subconscious level when you switch environments with someone. The level of rapport actually becomes stronger even if you're not really doing anything. Just the fact that you're experiencing different environments with this person is going to layer subconscious rapport in their mind. They're going to feel a connection to you and they're not even going to know why. This is why a lot of times people go on day dates instead of doing the traditional dinner and a movie type of thing in a nighttime atmosphere. A lot of people like to do things in the day, like go bowling or go to art shows or go to a cooking class, because experiencing those environments in the daytime, by the time the nighttime interaction comes, the people already feel closer to each other. If that's not an option, if for whatever reason you can't get your target into another environment, then you can utilize the power of storytelling. And the reason why I say utilize the power of it is because it's one of the most powerful tools that you can use in your influence and persuasion techniques and tactics. Every single person on the planet responds to storytelling. We understand it. It's been embedded in us since an early age. We resonate towards storytelling. It's something that our mind is able to make sense of. And what that enables you to do is anytime you tell a story, and a good story, you're actually able to take your target into the story with you. This is what happens when we watch movies. When you watch a movie, you can't help but eventually identify somehow with the main character and visualize yourself in the movie. When you utilize good storytelling, you're utilizing deep or wide rapport, because you're moving your target from one place to another without actually doing it. So those are the 5 major fatal errors that most people make when trying to develop rapport. And if you'd like to know more about stuff like this, I have a great program called the Conversational Hypnosis Code. It's actually a 12-module audio program. It comes with almost a 500-page digital book, and it covers all this stuff and more. You can check out conversationalhypnosiscode.com for more information on that. Once again, Paul Mascetta here. Don't forget to subscribe below so you can get access to more of these videos. Talk to you soon.